We're gonna react to world champ Val Allman's monster throw from Tokyo, and we're gonna start right now. When we're looking at Val Allman, one, let's go over a couple key factors here. She's a world bronze medalist. She's a world silver medalist. She is a two-time Olympic champ, 3 or 4-time Diamond League champ. She has a PR of 73.52. She has thrown over 70 meters multiple times in stadiums and goes to this year's World Championship. She's not won a World Championships yet until this year. And in round 5, I believe it was, she pops off, right? And she was in first place and in a pretty controlling situation. Yorinda was, there was a lot of girls a lot of women were throwing very, very, very well. Like a lot of chicks were popping off. As a spectator for that specific event, we did have an athlete in the event in the qualifying, Gabby Jacobs. Shout out Gabby. And actually Val was one of the first people who said congrats after Gabby made that team. But let's get back to Val. Is that as a spectator watching it, I felt like she was in control of most of the comp, because she seemed to be missing throws and still throwing 65 to 67 meters. So I wanted to just point that out. She's actually a 5-time Diamond League champ as I'm looking at some of her results. And I think that just recognizing her prowess in the sport and where she is now, there's a point in Krauser's career where people are like, well, he hasn't won a world title yet, and it literally was a discussion all the way through 21 or 22. Like genuinely, that was a discussion, and we often forget those things. And now at the age of 30 with Val, she'll turn 31 this year in February. We gotta recognize, like, she's setting herself up for a very, very strong argument of being the greatest female discus thrower ever. I would say she has the clean world record. I would say she took that from Jaime Perez, our athlete here. So I wanted to pitch those things to you and recognize that to be that good, you have to be very technical. Meaning, I would say the best technical model in the history of the sport. Discus is Val. Now, let's watch this. Let's see let's just analyze it by what we see, because I think it's important to just, in this case, so she's setting at 67, 63. She knew immediately it was gone, right? All right, so I want to look here. When we're looking at Val's technique, right here, I'd say she's loaded up on that left foot. Okay. One thing I want to point out that a lot of people will talk through is they want their leg extended at this point. And if you see her here, I don't know why. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why, because I've always felt that if your leg extends, you're falling in. Just be aware that the greatest here is bent. It's okay to be bent after pickup. Okay. And so she's loaded there with that left, still bent at this point, right? And then that left opens up here, and I feel like this is when she extends. Okay, so that's when I see the right leg extension, is when she's passing this left foot here. Now her hips are in a little bit. I do think on this throw, compared to some other throws, especially there's a throw of hers from 2 years ago in a stadium where I think that's her best technical throw ever. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying it is, but I think she threw 70-47, if I remember, 70, somewhere around that, right? Okay, so we get here, left foot opens, right leg's long. See that right leg lengthen. And I want to go back and just notice how she's carrying the discus. She's got this open position here. Okay, so she's got an open position there. And her left arm's sort of similar with Daniel Stahl. It's sort of always almost maybe a little ahead of the knee, but not much ahead of that left knee. So she goes here, she lengthens. I want to see what happens there off that left. Looks like she starts to extend a little bit there. Right comes down here. And this is where I feel like in the past, I feel like her foot would be grounding this way more. And in this throw, she's grounding towards like this part of the cage. I think these are just differences I'm pointing out. And that makes the left, and this could also be related to the position I was referring to earlier here with the hip. Okay, so those are just some thoughts I think. High point looks like she carries it here and it almost takes that path, which I've always thought for her, I mean, she's got the best right there dialed in, right? Like just sitting there, super mobile, right, left leg comes around, and the left knees. And this is one thing, I should make a video on like 5 things that I've changed my mind on. I've never really liked the like pinch your knees to the front cue. I've never been a fan. And I'm now like, I actually think it's applicable. And it's all Val's fault. It's all her fault. I'm changing my mind because I see her throw and I'm like, and I actually talked with Christoph Kipp about this. And it makes sense that the pinch your knees will actually help her rotate her left down faster. And I'm thinking like, I'm gonna start using that cue. Like I've like been away from it. I haven't liked it. Meaning for the most part because I've had other throwers do it that I didn't like their technique, but it's other things that they don't do well, like their sweep is not good, so I didn't think it mattered. Val does everything so well with the sweep that I think it's imperative that she has that. And I want everybody here to pay attention to where she catches, right? So she catches right there, and then when the left foot is down, right here, this is the deepest I think I've probably ever seen somebody catch who's thrown over 60 meters. Like we're looking at a pathway like this. Okay, like look at this position. This is insane. That's really, really good. Now, the other thing I want to point out here, that high point, right? Like you can barely see it there, but it's a good high point. I want to point out the drop. I mean, let's keep it right here because you can really see how high that is. Okay, that's the point of her hand. Now think about the distance, not only away out this way, but also down and up. That distance traveled increases from a high point. So we see here, like where's her low point then? Right about here. And then the other thing that I think with her, so we're looking at a good drop. Now you have to be within a range. You don't want it to drop like crazy because then you're going to sky everything. So it's like a happy medium that you've got to flow within. And the other thing I want to point out with her is the footwork. Right there, so a lot of people will tell you to get up off that left, but look at her flat left there, and I think the fact that her right is rotating so well through into her left side. And this is a point that Christoph Kipp has pointed out, is like hand. So if we look at the hand to hip and the speed of the right hip. So he actually measures like, what's the speed of the right hip? You can see her hip is up the left sector while her hand is almost down the right sector. And I've seen Val do this in the past where her right foot picks up on the finish. And I actually think she's down longer than she normally has been. So that to me is, she just hammers this finish, hammers. And so those are just things, and I want to go back and watch this again in full speed. Because then you can just see the release, it turns over later, the edge stays low and comes up and flies really well. It's just dialed in, 69, what was it, 69.50, sweep, catch, long, and I love that left arm there.
69.48 in the 5th round. A lot more pressure applied to the field.
Yeah, and you see 69.48 in the stadium. That's probably 73.50 to 74 plus at Ramona. That's probably in Eugene, probably 71.80 to 72, which is what she's done she went 71.30, I think, this year, 71.20, something like that this year in Eugene. So you've got to think about like the scaling of her technique is so great. meaning she throws well in a stadium. She throws well in mediocre weather. She throws well outside of a stadium in some place like Eugene that's a stadium but it has more wind, and she throws really well in Ramona. And I think she could go back to Ramona. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes 75. So I wanted to talk through all those different factors. I want to pay attention to those things. I think the big takeaways that I would say when you're watching someone like Val is, and the best takeaway here, if you don't train with us at Throws University, you should head over to throwsuniversity.com, sign up for some custom programming, or you can pick up one of our courses to start to learn from us and become that next level of thrower. But take down some notes here. The big things that I would say is pay attention to her right leg on the sweep. Okay, you watch her right leg on the sweep, and that relative to her left arm. She controls that left arm. Then the next thing is her high point. When she hits that high point, where's that at? How high it is? How well she controls it? And then sitting through that finish, getting forward at the front. Those are like 3 just big principal concepts that everybody can sort of learn, build towards, get that momentum, get that rhythm, and really improve over a long period of time. And if you guys need help with your training, head over to throwsuniversity.com. If you're a post-collegiate thrower looking for a place to train, hit us up on Instagram at Throws University. Until next time, guys, peace.